Hello everyone. Thank you for your questions. You have sent me several questions and I will try to answer all of them. So today I have picked up the topic of F1 visa because there were a lot of questions about the F1 visa. So let us just talk about the F1 visa a bit. Um, when you go to the US, there are several categories of visas. When you are going as a student for an academic or a language institution, you get an F category visa. In case you are going for a vocational training school, you will get an M category visa. So we are discussing F1 visa because most of the students who go as full-time students. So let's discuss what the F1 visa is. The F1 visa is basically a permission to approach the US border authorities to attempt an entry into the United States. Now there is a confusion here. Some people believe that an F1 visa is a definite guarantee of entry into the United States. That may not always be true. The final authority which permits you entry into the United States is the immigration authority. So even though you have an F1 visa, the final authority that will let you enter that country is the immigration. F1 visas fall in the category of what is called non-immigrant visas, and the F1 means that you are a full-time student. So there are a number of no's that go with the F1 visa. When you are a full-time student, you do not have, on an F1 visa, you cannot work off campus. F1 visa is not issued to part-time students, and it is not issued to students or people who have an intention to go to the US to work. You have to go there and study full-time. So in order to get the F1 visa, there are some qualifications that you have to demonstrate. Number one, you have to show a command of the language, and for that there are some tests which are administered and which you will have to take. Either you will have to give the IELTS or the TOEFL to show that you have a reasonable command of the English language. Secondly, you should be accepted in an I-20 granting institution. So I-20 is a very important document without which you cannot hope to get the F1 visa. The I-20 is a form which shows your eligibility to go to the US to study as a student. Thirdly, you have to show evidence of adequate finance for at least the first year of study. You have to show finances, you have to show money that will meet your expenses in the first year, and you have to demonstrate an ability to pay for the second and subsequent years of study. So these are your qualifications: command of English, admission into I-20 granting institution, and the funding. And the most important, the fourth, is a proof of your intent to return to your country. I cannot stress this enough. This is very important. Your F1 visa will most likely be denied if you are not able to demonstrate your ability and your willingness and your absolute intent to return to your country after you have done your full-time studies in the US. So now let's break it up and look at it step by step. What are the steps in getting the F1 visa? Step number one, you have to get your I-20. As I said, it is the document showing your eligibility to study in the US. How do you get your I-20? First, you choose your college and you apply. And you apply to those colleges wherever you want to go to. We suggest that you make a list of not more than 5 to 6 colleges, because obviously there is a certain amount of processing fee associated with each college. So make a list of 5 to 6 colleges. Don't keep all dream colleges. keep some competitive ones, but also keep some average ones. Apply, get your acceptance, and with that acceptance, uh, show the proof of your funding. Once you do that, you will get your I-20, but security is very important at all steps. So have all your documents sent by courier wherever possible. Check for accuracy. Check that all the information on the I-20 is accurate. You have to pay a certain fee, which is called the SEVIS fee, SAVIS, SEVIS. This is an online database which helps transmit student information from the college to the INS, the Immigration and Naturalization Service. So the fee for this has to be paid, and then whatever record you have, it is very important to keep it safe forever, because it will always come in handy. Documentation is one thing which is very which has to be very meticulously maintained when you are applying. Once you receive your I-20, please check it for accuracy. Your name, your gender, all the information on the I-20 must be checked for accuracy. So once you get your I-20, your first step towards obtaining the F1 visa is done. Then we go to the second step. You will have to complete the visa application online, and apart from the visa form, the supplements also. So you'll have to, if you're applying from Pakistan, you'll have to visit the website ustraveldocs.com/pk. I repeat, ustraveldocs.com/pk. The payment has to be made to Allied Bank if you are applying from Pakistan, and then you will schedule your appointment for the interview appointment through ustravel.com. Then we go to step 3, the most important step perhaps, preparing for the interview. The interview is very short, and everything depends on it, because in this short interview the visa officer will determine whether you will be given the visa or not. So you have to prepare painstakingly for the interview, and meticulously prepare all the documents for the interview. Now technically the document which is required for the interview is just one, it's the I-20. But of course we always say that apart from I-20, other documents must accompany in order to strengthen your case, to strengthen your chances of being given the visa. Now these would include your academic documents, the OA levels, your SAT or GRE, whatever you have given, your proof of financial ability to pay, the SEVIS receipt, the financial and scholarship proof if you have got any scholarship, because if you've got a scholarship, it means that even if you do not have enough funding, it means that still you will be able to meet the requirements in university. So the proof of scholarship really strengthens your case. Step 4, actually going to the window. The most daunting experience maybe. Keep certain things in mind when you get to the window. Be prepared. Preparation is the most important thing. But being prepared does not mean that you try and memorize the whole website of the university where you are going. You should know enough about the university. I'm not saying that you should know about the university, but link the qualities of the university to your objectives. What is it that made you choose the university? For example, you can say, I really want to go to that university because someone recommended it for you, and that's someone you really trust, and he is an experienced person, he recommended it, that's why you are going there. Don't say, I chose that university because it's the best university in the world, or some such vague statement which is not related to you. Whatever you say has to be related in some way to your objectives. Personalize your story, that's important. Secondly, dress smartly and be on time. When you are giving the interview, please be a little assertive. Speak loudly and clearly. Answer all questions fully. Don't give the impression that you are evading the questions. Make good eye contact. Anticipating the questions is always a good strategy, but the best strategy is being honest about everything. If you have a relative in a certain place and you're going there because of that relative, your uncle, your brother-in-law, whatever, don't try to hide that from the visa officer. Again, I cannot stress that enough. The intelligence system is very strong. If you have a relative, sooner or later the visa officer will find out, and he might bring it up. He might just throw that information to your face during the interview, and then you will be denied the visa. If you are denied the visa on technical grounds, you can always reapply. But if you are denied the visa because you have lied, that goes in the record, and then you will never get the visa again. So always be honest with the visa officer. Come out clean, explain, and tell the truth. That is the best strategy of getting the F1 visa. Of course, when you go to the US as a full-time student, you are allowed to work a certain number of hours, usually 14 to 20 hours a week, but that would be on campus. And there are two things. You cannot work off campus, one, and two, the money that you earn from working part-time on campus cannot be your primary source of funding. The source of funding has to be declared and shown. As I said, the first year of funding has to be shown, and there has to be evidence that you will be able to pay for the second and third year also. In certain courses, work permission is granted after graduation. There's something which is called OPT, under which, under the OPT program, students may be granted up to the permission to work up to 29 months after graduation. But the usual period is about 12 months. Keep in mind, for the OPT program, you have to apply through the school where you are studying. The OPT authorization has to be done through the school, and it has to be added on your I-20. And again, you have to demonstrate intent to return to your country after the OPT is done. You can stay in the US. Once you go, you can stay there as long as you are able to demonstrate that you are a full-time student. It does not mean that if your F1 visa has expired, you have to return immediately. No, if you continue to maintain your status as a full-time student, then with the proper procedures and with the proper documentation, and after following all the legal formalities, you can stay in the US and study. It is not compulsory to return immediately after. But once your visa expires, you cannot travel out of the US. That can cause problems. So yes, you can stay there and after fulfilling all the legal formalities. So when do you apply? You should apply as soon as you get the I-20. Your I-20 has come, now start applying. You should enter the US only 30 days before the start of classes, which are mentioned on the I-20. When your classes will start is mentioned on the form. So you should enter the US only 30 days before the start of your classes. The classes, for example, are started on 15 August. So enter the US 30 days before that. That would be 15 July. There's another category of subcategory within the F. It's called the F2 visa. And under the F2 visa, you can take your spouse and children as dependents. But dependents have to apply separately for their own visas, and there is no guarantee that if you have been given the F1 visa, then all your dependents will be given the permission to enter the US also. So sometimes during interviews, some questions are raised, and again which confuse the applicants. For example, if the visa officer asks you, will you stay in the US after your OPT? So don't get confused. Just be honest. Once again, be honest. Tell them that yes, if you intend to stay, then say yes. If I can legally get the H1 visa, then I will work there. And if I do not get the work visa legally, then I'm not going to stay there, and I'm going to return to my country. Honesty is appreciated everywhere. There are some concerns about what's going to happen after January 20th when the new administration comes in. All I can say right now is that the new administration has promised to be hard on illegal immigrants. People who come to the US legally on any visa will not suffer. But once again, you have to demonstrate that you are a genuine student and you intend to return to your country once the duration of your degree or duration of the program is over. Another question which has been sent is, what if I have a travel visa? Will that affect my F1 status? No, it won't. In fact, it helps. It shows that you have a connection to the US. You have traveled to the US. You have you understand the country. You understand the immigration procedure, and that you have been granted permission to enter the country before. So it actually helps. Why should it hinder? So if you have a travel visa and you have an F1 visa, then when you are traveling and not studying, they will let you enter the country on your travel visa. So that is not going to hurt your chances as a student. So I hope that I've answered some of your questions regarding the F1 visa. If you have any further questions, you can email me at nadeem.zaidi, nadeem.zaidi 786110 @gmail.com. I'll be happy to answer any further questions. Thank you very much.